So now let me share with you this part of the Melchizedek scroll, or 11Q13, that portion of it, column 2. This is from page 1207 of volume 2 of the Florentino Garcia Martinez and Ibert J.C. Tigchelar edition. This is you can get it from Brill or Erdman's. And so on page 1207, it gives the translation. Now, part of it is not there, so I'm going to read the parts that are reliably there. And if there are parts that are not, I'm going to skip them or point them out as I read them, so you know what is reliable and what is maybe an attempted restoration of, as you can see here, like this part I'm circling. So there's a little piece missing there, and over here, and then we have all this text. So that's just the way it is sometimes when it comes to some of these scrolls. Okay, and so in part of the scroll that I'm showing you here, it says this, and let me get, okay, so it says, "For it is the time of the year of grace of Melchizedek and of his armies," and just, I should point out, Melchizedek is associated often with Jesus in the New Testament and in later writings, but is also associated with the Messiah and with Michael in the Dead Sea Scrolls. But that's not so much what I'm getting at in quoting this text, as I am the understanding of Psalm 82. Okay? So this is what they were believing about Psalm 82, at least according to 11Q13. So it says, "And it is the time for the year of grace of Melchizedek and of his armies, the nation of the holy ones of God, of the rule of judgment, as it is written about him in the songs of David, who said," now the text is quoting, this scroll right here is quoting Psalm 82. "About him in the songs of David, who said, Elohim will stand in the assembly of God, in the midst of the gods." Part of this text, so it says Elohim, and then part of the word stand is there, and then in the assembly, part of assembly is missing, of God, but it's the same basic text. So it's basically there, just a few pieces missing, like you see right here in this example. So let me read it, because it's reliably all here except for a few pieces, but that essentially you can make out because we have Psalm 82. And the parts I'm going to be referring to in terms of the interpretation are not in dispute. They're not missing. So it says, quoting Psalm 82, "Elohim will stand in the assembly of God. In the midst of the gods he judges." This is the text that I'm about to read that Jesus quotes in John 10, or that is at least referred to here. So he refers to Psalm 82:1, "God will stand in the midst of the gods," and about him he said, "And above it to the heights, God will judge the peoples. And for what he said, how long will you judge unjustly and show partially to the wicked?" That's Psalm 82:2, right after Psalm 82 that I quoted earlier. It says, "As for what he said," because remember, they're quoting in the Melchizedek text that I'm referring to, Psalm 82. So it says in the text, "As for what he said," and he quotes Psalm 82:2, "How long will you judge unjustly and show partially to the wicked?" Its interpretation concerns Belial and the spirits of his lot, who, turning aside from the commandment of God to commit evil, but Melchizedek will carry out the vengeance of God's judgments, and on that day he will free them from the hand of Belial and from the hand of all the spirits of his lot. To his aid shall come all the gods of justice. He is the one who all the sons of God," and then it's missing there. And then it goes on. And then part of it, it's missing in this part, so it's not really, there's a part down here where it says, "They shall devour Belial with fire. Belial shall rebel." So there's continuous references to Belial, but there's two clear references to Belial and all his spirits as the gods of Psalm 82. Now, whether or not that's who they are, the text I think is pretty clear, right? I mean, I think in Psalm 81 it leads up, refers to those nations, gods of the nations, who were not handling their own people, and of course leading to the mistreatment of Israel that God was protecting through Michael in order to bring forth the Messiah. He addressed those gods and judged them, and he took over because they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And Jesus referred to that text and those gods in his defense and said, if they can be called gods, how can I, as the Son of God, not be called a God?